Hello everyone, this is Nina Stevens. So this garden, I cut down all the vegetation and took up all the plants, but I've had some voluntary vegetables come back. Um, this first one here, this is a squash plant. There's several squash plants and they have blooms on them, several blooms, and they just came back, I guess, from seed being dropped or plants being tilled under. And all this grass, I was supposed to be able to pile grass clippings, but I wasn't able to do that. This is a cucumber plant that came back voluntarily. But me being gone to Ohio for work, and then when I got back, I was sick with bronchitis, so I wasn't able to put the grass clippings on top of my garden, so all this grass started growing back. So I want to plant some fall greens in this garden. So I'm going to use the back half of the garden and leave the front half for those volunteer vegetables. And then on the outside of the garden, I want to do till up a row for some onions that I have. So I'm going to leave those vegetables there and let them grow because they have blooms on them already. And here's where I want to put break new soil, I guess is what you call it, to make me a row, just one row, for some, they're called walking onions. And I have 4 sugarcane pieces that I want to plant there. So I don't want to put them inside the garden, so I'm going to make a row on the outside of my garden fence. So don't laugh at my tiller. It's raggedy looking, but it only cost me $50. And it runs really, really well, so I think I got a good deal on that. But this soil outside the fence hasn't ever been broken up before, so I'm struggling a little bit in some places to get that grass cut back and that soil tilled up. My guard dog inside the fence, she's checking to make sure everything's done to her specifications. And I had some debris left, so I had to get that out of the way. But I hear my tiller making a funny noise, so I'm trying to adjust the speed and see if I can make it smooth back out again. But I could never figure out what was wrong. It started running like it was supposed to, so I figured I'd keep going. So I only want the row as long as my garden is along the outside of the fence. So I've come down to the end of the row, And I'm going to have to try to maneuver this tiller to get it to turn around so I can go back the other way. And I apologize for the view of my backside. So on the inside of the garden, I have to start in the corner on that back side. So it's kind of hard because it's inside the fence. There's a corner there. So I have to come at that corner at from a couple of different angles to make sure that I get the corner up to the fence without actually catching the wire in the tines of the tiller. That creates a whole mess, a whole different story if you catch the wire in the tine of your tiller. And this soil has iron in it, so you find pieces of iron. Some of them can be pretty big, so when I find those big pieces, I try to get them out of the way because I don't want to run over them with my tiller and bend my tines. But I only want an area big enough to plant about 4 rows of greens. So I've got the corner pretty much situated like I want it. So I'm having to turn the tiller around again and pull it back so I can continue on that side next to the fence. But this area was tilled last year. That's where I had my garden, so it's pretty easy to do again. And then I have help. This is my mom. She's a widow also, so she came down to spend the day with me. So my video kind of messed up a little bit here, but she's helping me get my mustard greens, and I have 1 pack of spinach, so I'm going to plant those. And she made me a trench, pulled me a trench through there, and that's where I'm putting the seed. So I'm going to have a little short row of spinach because I only had one pack of seed. And then in that trench, I'm going to continue on with mustard greens. And all I do is drop them right down in the trench. And it's not very deep. I would say it's not even a ½ inch deep through that trench. And I'll go down the one trench and then come back up the other. And then my mom will come behind me. That's what she's doing here. as I drop the seeds in, she'll come back behind me and cover them up. And last year I had my mustard greens growing in just like a spread out patch. But I think it's gonna be better if I plant them in a row. So that's why we did the trenches this year. Especially since I have the fence around my garden. It's kind of hard to get on the other side of where my mustard greens are growing if I don't have them in just a row. So we stepped all over the trenches that she made. So here I'm making 2 more trenches. Because I couldn't really see where we were supposed to plant. So I'm going to make the trench. I had some kind of bee or wasp or some kind of hornet looking critter after me. So I'm going to make these 2 trenches, and she's going to come behind me and plant. And she just puts those seeds right down in that trench that I just made. And I come back behind her and cover up those seeds. I think it'll work a lot better that way. So we're cleaning up our mess, and hopefully pretty soon we'll have greens to eat. So I appreciate you watching.